We take long 300-page nonfiction books that have been gathering dust on your nightstand that you've been intending on reading for a long, long time, but just haven't gotten to. We condense them down into 20-minute actionable book summaries.
Have you ever wondered how to make $1 million on social media? Meet Dean Bokhari. He's an author, an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, and a podcast host.
I can share the highest ticket speaking engagement that I've had an opportunity to take on, and that was a $55,000 offer.
He teaches on habits, productivity, motivation, and meaningful work and leadership. And with that, he's built a 7-figure business.
We're all together a little over $100,000 a month. If you're consistent and you're patient and you're willing to put in the work, eventually, something will work.
Welcome Dean Bokhari to the show. Dean is an author, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and host of the popular self-improvement podcast, Dean Bokhari's Meaningful Show. He's thought of internationally as a speaker on habits, productivity, motivation, meaningful work, and leadership. So, Dean, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Let's start this off with, what's your mission on this planet?
My mission on this planet is to inspire, educate, entertain as many people as I possibly can around the world to improve their lives and achieve their goals. That's my mission, my purpose, my big why, whatever you wish to call it.
What inflection point made you start doing that, also starting your business?
Starting my business. So which business are you actually referring to?
Now let's do this. In your previous life, like before all of this, what did you do there, and what inflection point happened that made you?
Sort of, absolutely, yeah. So coming out of college, graduated from college, intended on becoming a lawyer, realized that wasn't for me, and I decided to move from Virginia to California to just take some time to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, with my career. I realized I wanted to do something meaningful, but I just didn't know exactly what that was yet. So I ended up working for a company that helped move me out from Virginia to California. And I thought, okay, I can use this as my day job, and, in between, I'll try to figure out different things, take on different opportunities, and try different stuff until I really figure out what I want to do. Well, that company I ended up working for 4 years because I just kept on getting promoted and promoted and promoted. And before I knew it, I had what many people call where I, was being paid well. I was getting a lot of different benefits, and I started to consider, well, maybe I should just stay here and do this. But, I just couldn't continue on that path. And eventually I ended up quitting. It was a long emotional roller coaster ride, but it was the right decision for me. And that's what led me into this online self-improvement sort of world. I started a blog, I started writing about personal development, I started sharing thoughts. And before I knew it, one thing led to another. And I started getting offered to come and speak at different places from people I never met before that found me online, which I thought was absolutely incredible. And that's sort of how it started off for me.
Very clear. Good transition as well to talk about today. So if I were a typical client of yours, what's the core offer that I would buy from you?
So I've got several different core offers, I suppose you could say, where we produce nonfiction book summaries for busy people. And that is a membership service and an app as well. And so we take long 300-page nonfiction books that have been gathering dust on your nightstand that you've been intending on reading for a long, long time, but just haven't gotten to. And we condense them down into 20-minute actionable book summaries that you can read or listen to. And so that's one core offering. Another one is my speaking. Another one is a subscription service for self-improvement and personal development at deanbokhari.com. And those are some of my primary offerings.
Very clear. Let's talk about pricing real quick. Like, where does it start on the low end and where does it end on the high end?
Sure. Yeah. So I think as far as high ticket stuff goes, my highest ticket stuff is in person stuff, things like coaching, speaking engagements, things of that nature. My entry level product is just a monthly subscription service at deanbokhari.com. And that's just $10 a month for people that want to, just better themselves and get to the next level in life. And then in between that, I've got a whole bunch of different stuff from courses to, the book summary service and more.
Okay. Double clicking real quick on the speaking in person, the highest ticket, like where is that? Is that in the four figures, in the five figures?
Yeah, so it really depends on the client, and who I'm working with. But I can share the highest ticket speaking engagement that I've had an opportunity to take on. I won't share what company it was, but I will share what the compensation was, and that was a $55,000 offer for a speaking
Wow,
engagement, which
amazing.
was stunning to me. Absolutely stunning.
Yes,
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you,
That's really
thank you.
cool. What tools do you use to deliver your value for, let's say, the online offerings?
Yeah, so one big thing I've been focusing on over the last handful of quarters, I have probably a year now, has been courses. So I take an idea that many of my readers and listeners have been struggling with, and I will create a course about that. Or I'll take a book that I find particularly inspiring, and I create a course based off of that. And I never realized how much of an opportunity there was in the course creation market until about a year or so ago. And it's been fun. It's been enriching, and I've been able to help a lot of people with my
Yeah.
course content.
And what do you use? Like use WordPress, Kajabi, Thinkific, like what are the tools?
Yeah, so I use WordPress, and on WordPress, you may be familiar with a plugin called LearnDash and another one called MemberPress. So those are like the two main ones that I like to use. Yeah.
Nice. Take me on a timeline. When did you launch the business as is with the current offer stack?
Oh, so the offer stacks have, I mean, they morph and grow as time, as I evolve along, with time. But I first started all of this in 2014, I would say. That's when I first launched the podcast, and the blog. And so, yeah, 2014 is when it first started. Took a while to figure out what I wanted to, how I wanted to monetize this whole thing. But I learned along the way, and that's that's sort of how things came about. I don't know if that answers your
Let's talk about
question, Matt.
Yeah, it does. Let's
Go
talk
ahead.
about success. How many paying customers do you have today, let's say in a typical month?
Dude, I don't know. um, I, I cannot reasonably answer that question because I do not know.
Okay, let me come from a different side then, because I mean the show's also called Million Dollar Creators, right? And I'm interested, like, where are you on that journey? Like the 83K mark a month, times 12, that's a million. So
Yeah.
like, where's the business right now, and how has it ramped up over the years? That's at least like where I try to get understanding for.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, things didn't really start to grow, at least not exponentially for me, until I would say this 7 or 8 year mark. I was just slogging through, just trying project after project and idea after idea until eventually, if you're consistent and you're patient and you're willing to put in the work, eventually, something will work. And it took a while for that to work for me, but it eventually did pay off, thankfully. And yeah, like I said, it took a good 7 or 8 years before that began to happen for me.
Nice.
As far as right now, we're all together a little over 100,000 a month in revenues from our different products and offerings.
If you think the creator economy is really interesting, then I got something for you. On milliondollarcreators.club, we actually created a database of all the creators out there, and you see not just their fans, followers, subscribers, but actually how much money are they making. So with that, we bring now transparency into the creator economy, and you really see how are the best of the best get their customers, price their offers, create their offer stack, get customers, which tools are they using, how will they grow and triple their business going forward. So if that's interesting for you, including lists of who makes the most revenue, who has the fastest revenue growth, who has the biggest audience, who has the fastest growing audience, who makes the most revenue per follower, and who has the most exciting offer stack from low end all the way to the high end, then go to milliondollarcreators.club and enjoy the data. Nice. That's really, really good. That's north of like it's 1.2 million. It's really, really good.
Thank you.
Very good. And like a year ago, you already just to understand the growth a little bit, like it's like slowly growing.
Sure.
So it was like 90K last year, or it was like you doubled from 50.
Yeah, it was more like this. It was like slow, year after year after year, and then boom.
Okay.
It just kind of took off, at a certain point, it just really took off for me. So yeah, it wasn't steady, to be quite frank. It
Okay. So like a year ago, it was
a
like,
lot of
let's go
non-growth.
with
Yeah.
like
So a couple of
20K.
years ago, that was, I would say, more so 3 or 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, clear.
20K mark.
Very, very good. Let's talk about the cost base, like OpEx, operating expenditures. Like how big is the team? And if I were to have that secret chat with your accountant, what will he or she tell me? What are like the biggest items on your cost side of the P&L?
Hosting and, maintaining the website and all that, I'd say is around 500 a quarter. And then there's, we've got an app that we have another company that we've partnered with that created an app for FlashBooks that's around $400 or $500 a month. If I could have my accountant hop on the call with you,
No,
he'd be much more equipped to answer these
no,
questions
like
than I can.
let me rephrase it. It's more like, like from a founder perspective, like if you make 100K a month, like is that 100K margin?
Yeah.
Or actually, there's like a 50K team in place and we do Facebook ads for another 50K and actually it's zero.
Correct. Yeah. No. Yeah, no, that's those are profits. So that's minus after overhead and cost and all of that. So we've got a team of around 15 contractors that work with us. And so those are anyone, most of them are writers for FlashBooks. And then we also have, I've got an editor that helps with the editing of our audio and video content. And so, of course, there's costs involved with that. But overhead is pretty minimal. It's
Nice.
pretty minimal.
Yeah, very good. Let's talk about lead gen customer acquisition. So how do you get eyeballs awareness?
Yeah, great question. In the beginning, it was a lot of guest contributing, guest blogging, things like that. Finding other sites and publications that were what I was trying to do, that had a similar audience to what I wanted. And I did a lot of contributions, a lot of guest blogging, guest posting. And, that's sort of changed over the years. It's not as effective as it used to be, I suppose. But, that really helped me in the beginning, forming partnerships with people, working with other brands and big companies. I've been lucky to have my work distributed on places like Entrepreneur and Forbes and things of that nature. And so that's a lot. And that, I would say, is the primary driver of traffic for me, other than ads.
Yeah.
That and
Okay,
SEO.
I need to understand this because you were like going for years like this, and all of a sudden it exploded, right? So is there like this secret that it has like led to this enormous increase in the business?
You know, I can't say there's any secret. Needing to try as many things as possible until you figure out what works for you. If there's any secret, that's the secret. Um, I feel that the majority of folks that try and start things, especially in the online or e-commerce market, lack the patience to consistently, publish or write or do whatever it is that, they planned on doing. And that's really the key, is to be serious about it. Treat it like a professional, even if you don't know it all yet. And be consistent, even if you're speaking to an audience of one, because eventually it'll grow to two, to 20, to 200, to 1,000, to
Yeah.
20,000 and above, you know. But I think it's all about consistency and patience, truly.
Clear.
So for me, in the beginning, it was guest blogging. Then it became partnerships. Then it became ads. And now it's a combination of all of that.
Okay.
Podcast as well. That drove a lot of growth in the beginning.
That makes sense. What's today the typical funnel, really quick before we move on, the typical funnel from then awareness to purchase? How does it work?
Sure. Yeah. So somebody will sign up for my list. They'll receive, a valuable piece of content that I would normally have charged for in return for signing up. And I try to make those as targeted as possible so that the people that do sign up are receiving relevant content, stuff that actually helps them and that they're interested in. And so my rule of thumb is 3 to 5 valuable pieces of content and then offer. That's my
Okay.
funnel in a nutshell, and, rinse and repeat.
Clear. Let's talk about the future. Can you triple the business by yourself in the next 12 months? And what strategy or tactic will get you to that massive growth?
Can you triple my business within the next 3?
No.
Because
I can't. I can't.
Tripling it, as ideal as that would be, right now it's a funny time right now because of AI. And I myself have been a little bit concerned about it because I'm trying to figure out and wade my way through, how are we going to navigate the future with the proliferation of artificial intelligence, because it's really, turning a lot of things upside down. So I suppose if I needed to 3x my business within the next year, I would have to either leverage a major marketing platform, like some ad buys on a major media platform, or leverage AI in some way, or some combination of both. That's a great question.
Before we continue, there's one favor I would like to ask. If you enjoy what we do here and you enjoy the guests that we bring, please join $1 Million Creators by hitting the subscribe button. And if you do, I'll make you a deal. I do everything in my power to make this show bigger and better for you. Do we have a deal? Enjoy the show. Okay. So biggest channel to drive massive growth would be then, depends on what channel. I get it, right? Like media buying, partnerships, AI. Would there be a channel? Like, would something come to mind where it's like, okay, this channel, if I crack this, then could work?
Yeah, I was so do you guys have that streaming service Hulu where you are on your? So
no, we don't, but I'm subscribed.
Okay, so okay. So Hulu sort of they launched like an ad platform where you can create. I believe it's still in beta right now, but they had reached out about doing commercials on their platform and streaming them on their different shows and on TV and things like that. So that's something that I just learned about, that I find interesting, that I'm thinking about diving into and trying out.
Yeah, because it's new. Lots of traffic and no one bidding. Okay. What is holding you back personally from unlocking this massive growth?
From unlocking this massive growth, I suppose the first thing that comes to mind is that I cannot duplicate myself. Finding new team members and um, people to work with me can be a challenge. Training new hires is a challenge, and
Yeah.
nobody will ever be able to do what you do if you're running your business. They're not going to be they're not bought in as much as you are because you're the one that's running the show, right? And so nobody on your team is going to take as much ownership and have as much passion and be as energized and enthusiastic about your projects and programs, products, whatever they may be, as you are. And so I suppose the challenge really is I only have so much time and bandwidth to work with
Yeah.
as one man, and not everybody on my team can do what it is that I'm trying to do. Does that make sense?
Next, that makes total sense. Next section is called Favorite Five. It's a fast-paced section. You can answer in one word. First question will be easy for you, hopefully. What's your favorite book or business book?
Favorite book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey.
I'm not surprised. What is your favorite way to get inspiration or to learn and grow?
Reading books, baby. I
Yep.
read.
What's the favorite person that you are studying your role model?
Oh man, that's a good question. Right now, I would say probably Oprah Winfrey, if you know who that is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do. I find her very inspiring.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, we have like 65% of our customers is US and then Canada and Great Britain, Australia. So I'm like super Americanized. And I mean, Oprah is not really in our television, but no one watches TV anymore. So I get
Right.
it. What's your favorite event or conference that you have attended or would love to attend?
Hmm. I just got an email about one for it's like called the Creators Conference or something coming up.
Okay,
Gosh,
that's fine.
yeah,
What's your favorite
that's
online
coming up
tool for
this year.
building your company?
WordPress.
Favorite city or place that you would love to move to?
It just moved. But I really, really loved, I went to Geneva with my wife a few years back and I really loved it there.
That's one of the most
Yeah,
beautiful spots on the earth. That's true.
I
What's the
agree.
biggest thing on your mind right now?
Artificial intelligence.
Next section, personal section, really quick. How many hours do you work per week?
God, I have no idea. More than I would proud to admit.
What's that? 40, 80, 100?
Definitely over 40, but under 100. I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm probably around 50 to 60 hours a week.
Okay. How many hours do you sleep per night?
8. Minimum 7.
What's the
very important.
situation? Married, single, any kids?
Married with 2 beautiful children.
Like me. What's your age?
7.
37?
Correct.
Last question. We also want to give some advice to the audience. If you could go back in time and have a conversation with your 20-year-old self, what's the best piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
Keep going. It's going to work out.
Deep. Also makes sense to what you outlined earlier. That is Dean Bokhari. He is an author, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and host of the popular self-improvement podcast, Dean Bokhari's Meaningful Show. he has a really interesting business. So over years it was kind of like flattish, grew slowly, and then it took off. Today it's about creating, like, condensing non-fictional business books, and he's also like having a speaking business, and it all, for that reason, is priced from $10 a month all the way up to $55K, which is the record for the highest speaking engagement that hopefully will be broken soon by a company. And he runs everything for almost 10 years now on WordPress. He is on a 100K a month right now, and like we'll take this up further. His P&L is really, really good. There's a few contractors on it, but like amazing business. And yeah, he's like now looking into AI and how that could actually unlock more growth and opportunity for his business. He's a fan of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and will now take it to the next level. Thank you so much for sharing your passion, Dean.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you having me.
That was Dean Bokhari. You learned the transformative power of habits, productivity, and meaningful work in achieving success. So, how can you unlock the next level in your business?